for various initiatives in the DRDO what we have taken. And especially the DRDO has opened a technology development fund scheme, which is very important initiative, and every industry has to listen it because DRDO is providing the financial aid along with the technical hand holding. So I will just go through my presentation. You please have a look the kind of the initiatives the government is taking. Can I have my presentation, please? So this particular slide, if you see here, we have Make in India, the self-reliance, Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, the public-private partnership, or Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, which we have recently celebrated. And now we are in the Amrit Kal, where we had to see the realizations of various the initiatives which the government is taking. I am Arjun Kumar, Associate Director, working in the Technology Development Fund, Directorate at DRDO headquarters. So I would like to thank my directors also for giving me the opportunity for presenting here the representation of the DRDO. Next, please. Next. This we have already very much aware that the Honorable Prime Minister has given the 5 pillars on which everybody has to look into that particular sector, like the economy, we had to increase, we had to work in that sector, the infrastructure development, the technology-driven system, the demographic dividend we have, a very talented pool of the industries as well as the individual innovators or the startups we have. And similarly, there is a plenty of the demand. Demand is for India also, for world also. So we are basically not developing the things for us, but we should take the opportunity to export as an item, as a product or a technology. Next. If you see the Atmanirbharta in the defense, it is the Honorable Prime Minister clarion call, which actually tells that the major objective of the government as it gave an impetus to enhance domestic manufacturing and making the country as exporter in this field. And if you see in this particular sector, in the last few years, we have done a major milestone achieved during the this second phase of the government, which includes the LCA Tejas, Arudra, and the S-LESA radars, the Astra air-to-air missile, Akash surface-to-air missile, advanced light helicopter, light combat helicopter, etc. And these all inventories had gone into the Indian Air Force inventory. Similarly, if you see the MBT Arjun Mark 1A, which has been handed over a heavy vehicles factory, Avadhi, Chennai, for the supply of 118 main battle tanks, Arjun for Mark 1A for the Indian Army. If these items, if you see, so this is ultimately benefiting all the industry who is developing all the component spare parts and increasing the indigenization content under these technology. Next, please. Similarly, it is on the 2nd September, the whole country, the whole world have witnessed the launch and the indigenous aircraft carrier Vikrant, which is handed over by Honorable Pradhan Mantri, which is the INS Vikrant. If you see the beauty of this particular the IAC, which is 262-meter aircraft carrier, and it is a signal achieved for, it is basically a major achievement for the India because it is having a more than 76% indigenous content in this particular platform. And if you see, this is one of the major Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan step ahead with the delivery of Vikrant. India is joined a selected group of the nation having the niche capability to indigenously design and build on aircraft carrier. And in this particular section, if you see the Cochin shipyard has generally played a very major role along with the DRDO labs, the Indian Navy, different line directorates, and all the industries basically, the private players who have played a vital role for the development of this. Starting from the steel, the weld consumables, and all the war fighting things, everything has been indigenized. So more than 76% almost we have achieved in this. Next, please. Similarly, if we see the advanced electronic warfare system Shakti, which has been handed over by Honorable Pradhan Mantri, which is developed by the DRDO lab, which is the DLRL, and has been handed over in the year 2021. Similarly, INS Vishakhapatnam, the first ship of the Project 15B. The 2 sophisticated potent platforms, Karanj and Vela, were also handed over to the Indian Navy. Next, please. And this is the long list of the DRDO items which has been handed over to the various service stakeholders which is especially, if you see the radars, the bridges, the main launch of the new generation Agni missiles, the air-independent propulsion system, which is not handed over, it is under the progress, but I hope very soon we will see our own air propulsion system for propelling the submarines also, which is one of the DRDO lab along with the full industrial partnership and the Navy, we are working on this. Long range missiles also, the vertical launch of short range surface to surface air missile, the new generation Akash missile, maiden flight test for the Akash Prime missile, air version of BrahMos supersonic cruise missiles. These all things, whatever I am showing here, these all not possible without the participation of the industry and all the stakeholders. So government is giving a plenty of opportunity to participate in various kind of the hand holding and the support from the private industry so that we can realize these critical items and strengthening our services at large. Next. Similarly, other than the defense, if you see the women's empowerment in the armed forces, boost to border infrastructure, Indian commemorates the Swarnim Vijay Verse. And similarly, this is also one of the major initiatives where ordnance factories have been given a status of autonomy and they have converted into the 7 DPSUs. And here also the initiative to expand Sainik schools for the individual infrastructure with 100 more schools. NCC inducted 1 lakh more cadets in the 173 border in the coastal districts. So these are the few initiatives which I want to highlight here. Next. Now I am coming to the point where it's very important that we can do a lot of. There are the few industries who is already having a basic infrastructures they can do. But now the government is giving an opportunity to create those infrastructures. So that means DRDO is providing funds, the financial aids to the industries for realizing the indigenous mission of the country. And that is why we are here, the Technology Development Fund, which is created in the year 2016 by giving a parliamentary assurance in the year budget speech 2014-15, that there should be a fund through which the industry may take the opportunity to use this fund for the development of the technology and the technical hand-holding from the DRDO. So we are providing up to 50 CR fund. Initially, when we launched this Technology Development Fund scheme by the directives of the Honorable Prime Minister as well as the government, at that time the limit was up to 10 CR, but now it has been increased with the cost enhancement. Very recently, 7th June, Honorable RM has given a approval for the projects up to 50 CR. So up to 50 CR fund we can give to an industry depending on the project requirement. If you see the DRDO is having a technology transfer directorate where the DRDO developing the technology and handing over to the industry. Similarly, we have a technology development fund and we have a Dare to Dream innovation contest also, which is tapping the individual innovators and the startups for providing the necessary innovative idea for the development. Similarly, in the Indian Army, we have an Army Design Bureau. In the Indian Air Force, if we see, we have Air Headquarter Maintenance Command, Base Repair Depots, who are giving us continuous project requirement for the development of the technology through industries. Similarly, the Indian Navy, the Directorate of Indigenization is the nodal point for us, and my friends are there already from the Navy, so they are submitting us the project requirement for the development of those critical technology where the OEM denial or there is not availability in the country. And those requirements we are getting into the TDF, which we are developing through industry by providing funds to them. Similarly, in the Department of Defense Production, if you see, they have a scheme which is called IDEX, Innovation for Defense Excellence. There also they are boosting the startups for providing the financial aids up to 3 CR, and very recently their limit has also increased up to 10 CR. Similarly, we have Make 1, Make 2, Make 3 projects, and all the ordnance factories and DPSUs are also submitting a project requirement to the TDF so that we can develop those requirements through the private industries. And indigenization funds in DPSUs is available. If they can give the funds, okay. Otherwise, they are not giving, then probably we can take the help of the TDF they are submitting to us for providing financial aids. Next. Make in India, for the world. That is the important theme which the government has given. First of all, we should make everything like this. Design, development, manufacturing to encourage all the indigenous, to reduce import for the defense equipments, 18 major defense platform for the industry-led design and development. 3 positive indigenization list has already been launched, which disallowing the service headquarters to make the procurement orders for the foreign players. And similarly, they are the very kind of a positive initiative which actually increases the FDI around 74% under automatic route and simplification of all the procedures, launch of the technology development fund and the IDEX kind of a scheme, implementation of the public procurement, Make in India, where will be given a focus. And this is the launching has already been done. Indigenization portal name called Srijan Defense Portal. This is very important portal. Everybody has to look into this. See, whatever the defense technology we are developing, mostly DPSUs are developing. And they are depending on mostly the spares, component assemblies, sub-assemblies with a foreign OEM. So whatever the import they are doing, it is available onto the Srijan Defense Portal. More than 22,000 items are available. And there is a POC is available, list of items are available, and probably you can contact them and you can say, yes, already these technology we can develop, and probably it may be taken further under the TDF. It is not developed, fund will be provided by the TDF for those kind of indigenization efforts. Similarly, the offset policy is also simplified. Transfer of technology is already attracting a major this thing. And 2 defense industrial corridor, one in the UP, another is in Tamil Nadu, is under progress. And very soon, these will full-fledgedly come into the different 2 states, and many more may come if the indigenization efforts is going in such a pace. Next. These are the kind of things, if you see, starting from the 12th May 2020, the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, the continuously government is giving a push for the indigenization of the defense item by putting a various kind of import embargo through the positive indigenization list, and these are giving the boost for the private players or private industry to participate for the development of the technology. Next, please. Opportunities in DRDO. DRDO also taken a part into the indigenization process, and probably we have developed the Technology Development Fund scheme for giving a grants to the industry up to 50 CR, Dare to Dream Innovation Contest, Transfer of Technology Policy. DRDO is also promoting research through grants in aid. We have 10 Center of Excellences in different academic institutions, and very recently we have got an announcement that we are opening more centers in the different academic institutions. And in fact, the DRDO has started a course in the defense technology very first time, which is AICT approved. And this particular course is boosting the candidates to come into the defense technology. And the DRDO scientists, the retired DRDO scientists are providing the necessary teaching in those kind of institutions. So those who have pursued their BTech, they can go into the defense technology course also as an MTech program. And DRDO patents have been made available to the industry for use at nil cost. That means whatever the DRDO technology has developed, everything is available at nil cost, those patents. And DRDO test facilities have been opened to the industry for testing their equipment products. And other than this, the DRDO has launched a program which is called DCPP, Development Cum Production Partner. So whenever we are getting any mission mode projects, so we can involve any private industry by opening expression of interest so that we can take them on board since launch of the project. So that in the later phase, we should not face the problem to identify a particular integrator or a development production partner. Next, please. This is the Srijan Defense Portal, which I talked about. It is available. Everybody whosoever is want to put effort in the indigenization, they should look this particular web portal, which is Srijan Defense web portal. The technology management in DRDO. We have various kind of academics research through the various establishing the research boards in the DRDO. We have extramural research, the Technology Development Fund, the Center of Excellences in different academic institutions, and DRDO plus the various technology transfer we are doing. If you see the technology readiness level, this is the definition through which we are developing a technology. One, the technology up to 3 TRL level, that means this is the proof of concept of the basic research through which we are developing through academic research institutions, and DRDO is providing a huge number of grants to the various institutions. And then once the proof of concept is developed, then beyond TRL 3 to TRL 7 or 8, in fact, we are funding through Technology Development Fund to bring the proof of concept into a technology by providing necessary financial aids to the private industries. And Similarly, the DRDO is also working various mission mode projects, which I have showed you, and then finally we are developing those technology and giving a TOT to the industries. These are the few center of excellences in different academic institutions who are supporting all the necessary BTech, AMTech students to be involved in those centers and see what kind of technologies we are working. We have in IIT Chennai, IIT Delhi, Jadavpur University, Kolkata. We have ACRAM, Hyderabad University, DRDO, Bhartiyar University, RIC, Chennai. And then very recently we have opened one institute in Mizoram, which is called Northeast Science and Technology Center. And we have opened one Kalam Center for Science and Technology, Central University of Jammu. And we have recently going to open the DRDO, Gujarat University, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel Center for Cyber Security and Research. And almost 6 more we are going to open. These are the few research boards which are working in the DRDO for supporting different kind of the research in all the fields, the naval fields, the armament, aero, and the life science research boards. And this aero research board mostly developing the avionics kind of a components which the Bangalore industry may participate in those kind of things. This is the Technology Development Fund. If you see, the first initiative in defense sector by DRDO, which is Ministry of Defense, promoting Indian industries with academia for the development of the technology. The Kalam Vision Dare to Dream Innovation Contest, which is we are launching every year. Already 3 editions have been conducted, and we have supported almost 40 to 60 individual innovators and startups by providing them a prize money up to 10 to the startups, 10 lakh, and 5 lakh to the individual innovators. Successful realization already now coming under the TDF, and 4 technologies we have successfully realized, and Honorable RM has handed over to the Deputy Chief of Indian Air Force the technology developed through private players, first time in the country. And even globally, we are the 3rd nation, the technology we have realized through our industry under the TDF. Similarly, DRDO is now pushing a lot many bilateral innovation agreements, signing also with the foreign countries, so that their startup and our startup can join hand together for realizing the technology development fund. And then finally, we can get a technology of a standard, international standard, so that it is having a great export potential also. Successfully, we have awarded almost 57 projects and under TDF and various industries in association with the academia, and 150 plus projects are presently in our hand. So I would request to each and everybody to please register on TDF web portal for taking the advantage of the indigenization and take the appropriate financial support and the technical support from the DRDO. So MOD, when I'm saying MOD completes tri-services, the Department of Defense Production and the DRDO identifies the problem. Team TDF DRDO at DRDO headquarters Delhi executes it. This is my team. Presently, this team is headed by the Mrs. Nidhi Bansal, who is the Director TDF. And then the industry partners undertake the design and development, and finally, when we are working together, that means the private industries, the DRDO, the fund, the technical support, then we are realizing the critical technologies under the TDF. TDF promotes self-reliance. This, everything I have covered almost. Funding, now funding how much? Up to 50 CR we are giving. It doesn't mean that everybody has to just put a project proposal of 50. You will be rejected. Depending on the project requirement and the kind of a technology we are developing, you have to put your quote, your proposal. So depending on the project, if you see, the minimum financial aid we have given up to 8 lakh rupees under the TDF, and maximum we have given almost 9.87 crore of rupees also. So it doesn't mean that 50 CR means everybody has to rush towards the 50 CR. So it is not like that. Eligibility, all private Indian industries are entitled to take the support from this TDF fund, but the importance is that 51% ownership should be from the Indian. That is important. Duration, earlier the duration was 24 months, but now we have increased with the enhanced cost enhancement. Now the duration is 48 months we had to complete the TDF projects. We have a 3 level of committees. One is the Empowered Committee, which is headed by the Chairman DRDO or the Secretary DTRND, along with all the Vice Chiefs of the Service Headquarters, the Secretary Department of Defense Production. Additional Secretary MSME is the part of this committee, who is trying to identify the update of the progress the MSME is taking, the kind of initiatives. Similarly, we have a technical committee, which is headed by the Director General Technology Management. Presently, this committee is headed by the Shri Babu Srivastava. And here also we have a representation from all the service stakeholders. And this is the beauty which is called the project monitoring and mentoring group. Once the industry is selected under the TDF, we are making one group which is called the project monitoring and mentoring group, which will provide a technical hand-holding to the industry to bring the technology of a such level by providing financial aid as well as the technical hand-holding so that we can make a product of a category of the global standard. So this committee is guiding for all the private players to be involved as a defense technology experts. How we are doing? First of all, we are doing the advanced planning and consultations within our stakeholders, MOD stakeholders, and we'll try to identify the projects which we are generally want to upload as a TDF requirements. And after that, we'll conduct the feasibility of those projects, whether this is feasible under the Indian industry environment or not, or if it is feasible, then probably we can launch the project as a TDF project on the dedicated BAP portal. And then finally, we got the acceptance of necessity from the committees, and we will open the project as an expression of interest for applying from the private players as a TDF proposals. Once the proposals received, we will evaluate those proposals, and finally we'll shortlist the capable industries, and then finally we will award a project to the industries for the development of that critical technology. Whenever you are submitting a project proposal to us, there are the few guidelines or the evaluation criteria that 100 marks is the total evaluation criteria, where design capability will put around 60 marks. If you have a good fabrication and manufacturing capability, around 25 marks we will give you. And if maintainability and life cycle support you are providing after the development of the technology, 10 marks we'll give you. And the commercial criteria, which is the least weightage, nature of the company, net profit, turnover, these are the minimum criteria, which is the 5 marks we are putting. So as a whole, out of 100, if you are getting a 60 marks, that means you can qualify under the TDF. So this is the evaluation criteria. And very recently, I told Honorable RM has given an enhancement for this TDF scheme funding from rupees 10 CR to 50 CR. So that means now we can open bigger projects for the indigenization of the bigger platforms or bigger defense critical technology through private players. Policy framework for the startups. You will be amazed to see this slide. When the government has taken over a charge in the year 2014-15, or in fact, if you see the 16-17, we have a number of startups, hardly 726. But with the directives of the government, positive indigenization, positive impact, the number of startups has increased in the year 21-22. By September 22, almost 78,000. So you can see the number, it itself is telling that everybody is moving to bring them on board as an startups. And government is providing all necessary support. Only all individuals or the technical competent people register themselves as an industry, as a micro industry, and then please register yourself as a startup. And once you have been registered as a startup yourself, then probably the government will give a huge amount of funding. And government is already given a directives to all the departments, all the ministries to support to all these startups, providing necessary hand-holding. And already, even the MP government, the presentation I have seen, various kind of a center of excellences or the incubation centers we are opening, which if the startup is not having even a chair or table also, they can go to the incubation center and ask them, I need a space for doing my research, my technical work. They will provide all necessary logistic infrastructure to you for as a company to grow. Okay, so that means you need not require anything. Only one thing is required, which is the talent.